That's right. Welcome back for another episode of One More Round Fights. I'm your host, Gaff. I do this shit every Sunday. You'll see me on Monday this week because I was working JonasCon last night. Yes, I was working JonasCon, Big Time Rush was there, all this shit. Who cares? I'm here now. We're here to talk MMA. We got a big slate for the weekend. It's Monday, March 24th. We're about to get the fuck into it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Scan the QR code below. Left for the main card minute. That is where you saw us do the full card watch along on Saturday. That's right. We were with you the whole time and we were winning you money. That's right. Me and Luke got your back. And then scan the QR code on your right for One More Round Fights. Yes, that is where you'll find the UFC P Units simulation that cashed. Yes, more on that in this week's wins. And don't forget to follow on social because that's where I put out the wins and that's where I put out the graphics that we take on Fight Night. So that's One More Round Fights on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all that. And One More Round F8 on X because X sucks and has a character limit. But yeah, that's it. If you get some wins, send them into One More Round Fights at gmail.com. I swear to God, if I don't get some fucking wins sent to this goddamn email, I'm coming after you. Because you guys, I know you're making money. Send your fucking wins in. All right. And then shout out to our sponsor, W.GG. Use promo code One More Round for 10% off. That is promo code One More Round for 10% off. And without further ado, let's get into it because I got to get you guys out before MK. I ain't trying to steal some viewers from MK, the 6 viewers that I got from them. Okay. I'm trying to send it over. I'm trying to get you guys over there in time. So let's start with Sean Brady submits Leon Edwards. Wow. Sean Brady put on a performance of a lifetime. Bilal Muhammad tweeting, he copied my homework. Yes, in fact, he did. He followed your game plan. He put pressure on Leon Edwards. He pushed him back. He used his grappling to muddy up the striking. He got him down to the ground. He threatened submission attempts, and eventually he made him wilt and grabbed his neck and ended the fight. Sean Brady defeats your number one contender, Leon Edwards. Not really the number one contender. He was just ranked number one in the welterweight division. But it seems that Sean Brady, if not for Shavkat Rakhmonov, will be taking that number one spot by the end of today. I think Sean Brady is our new number one contender to fight for the title after Jack Della Maddalena. Now, if Jack Della Maddalena can't make it to his fight against Bilal Muhammad on May 10th of 2025, that's about 8 weeks. 6. That's about 6 weeks. I know someone, and his name's Sean Brady, and he'd love to get that rematch. He would absolutely love to get that rematch against Bilal Muhammad. The only fighter to beat him, the only fighter to finish him. And wow, what a way to avenge that loss would be in a title fight and to win it. That's a story. That's a story that builds a star, UFC. If you're trying to build stars, that is your story to build your next star. Sean Brady, Fighting City, Philly, Big Tough. Like, come on now. This stuff is writing itself before your very eyes. Now, if I were the UFC, I would have been like, get out of here, Jack. Sean, get over here, bud. Get in there. I mean, not room service diaries, but MK couch vet. You know what I mean? So we eventually knew he was going to get to this plateau of the upper echelon of the division. So I'm very happy for Sean Brady. Can't wait to see what comes his way. I hope they don't give him someone before he gets his title shot, but I think he deserves it now. If they do give someone to Sean Brady instead of a title shot, I say you give him another former champion. I say you give him Usman. I see that as a very winnable fight for Sean Brady. I see that as a fight where he can show off his striking. And I see that as a fight where we can answer the questions. Well, we've seen him against a striker. What about against a really good grappler? So that would answer those questions for us if we don't get that title shot next. Now, for Leon Rocky Edwards. What do we do? I see Joaquin Buckley. See, feed him to. That's a fun fight. That's a fun fight, no matter where you put it. Joaquin Buckley is chomping at the bit to steal a Luke Thomas colloquial term to fight someone in the top 5. And I think Joaquin Buckley should get if you're going to do anything with Leon Rocky Edwards and give his name value to someone, there's only 2 people, and it's Joaquin Buckley or Ian Machado Gary. Choose one, make the fight next. And that's it. That's it. That's all I got for you guys on that. I'm trying to move fast. All right. No fighter spotlight this week. It was going to be Mick Parkin if he got a win over Marcin Tybura. But as you know, and as me and Luke called, he did not. The veteran was just too much. So, yeah, moving on to UFC London results. UFC London results. Guess what? The English went home sad. At light heavyweight, Carlos Ulberg defeats Jan Blachowicz. Decision, unanimous, 29-28 across the board. And I have qualms. I don't think Ulberg won this fight. I think Carlos Ulberg lost round 2 and 3. That's just my opinion. It was a very close fight, that should be said. A split decision was warranted, in my opinion. At the very least. But Jan Blachowicz loses a unanimous decision to Carlos Ulberg. Carlos Ulberg did look good. He showed that he could hang with someone that's held the title and for a long time and fought the best of the best in the division. So Carlos Ulberg should not be moved too quickly after this fight. I don't know what should be next in terms of rankings, but it should definitely not be a top 2 guy. It should definitely not be Alex Bejeda or Jiri Prochazka. It should definitely not be them. Now, an Alexander Rakic, I'm into that. He just fought Volkan. What am I saying? A Johnny Walker, even. That's a fun fight, right? Would you watch that? Carlos Ulberg, Johnny Walker, somebody getting knocked the fuck out. Okay? So I'd love to see that fight next. I'd like to see him just take a step down real quick just to make sure that he's of that tier. And then if he beats a Johnny Walker, okay, let's talk big things. And a finish. You need to finish a guy like Johnny Walker. No offense to Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker's a great fighter, but that fight's going to be a banger. And if somebody doesn't get finished in that fight, what are we doing? What is this? Ngannou Lewis? No, we don't want that. We want a banger if we put that fight together. So somebody's getting knocked out, and I have faith in Carlos Ulberg being able to be the more technical striker in that fight, being the fighter with the higher fight IQ. So we'll see what happens with that matchup. But hey, don't move him up too fast, because if you can't beat a 43-year-old Jan Blachowicz, granted, he might still be of championship ilk. I think we shouldn't move you too fast. You might get a nosebleed. Kevin Holland defeats Gunnar Nelson. Unanimous decision, 29-28. 29-28. Yeah, 29-28. Kevin Holland finally showed us the Kevin Holland that we've been waiting to see at welterweight. He finally showed us He finally showed us takedown defense. He finally showed us submission defense. He finally showed us the ability to get up. He finally showed us the ability to stand on his feet. And he gave us a signature knockdown. Goddamn, Kevin Holland. You gave us everything I wanted to see. And you gave us a dubber. You continued your streak in your career of never losing 3 in a row. So thank you, Kevin Holland. What a win. Big win. Granted, it was a guy that hasn't fought consistently in the last 5 years, but It's a very skilled guy and one of the very best grapplers in the welterweight division. So that is a very good feather in Kevin Holland's cap. And that's all you can say about that fight. I'm glad to see that Kevin Holland got a big win. Now we can see him in that top 15. I want to see him make a charge, man. I want to see him make a charge. Maybe one more win before he gets a top 15 guy. But I'd love to see Kevin Holland get another fun fight. Maybe not a grappler this time. Maybe like somebody that mixes it up really well. Or maybe we just give him a fun fight like Michelle Pajeda. Wouldn't you love to see that? I would. Just think about it. Please. Just marinate on it. It's delicious. It's a delicious fight. Alexis Thenara defeats Molly McCann via submission, rear naked choke, round 1, 4 minutes and 32 seconds. Molly McCann retires after the fight, seemingly. And I want to congratulate Molly McCann on a very fun career. You made English MMA interesting, especially in the lower weight classes. You added personality to the UFC, and you gave us a budding friendship with Patty Pimblett that we saw play out on camera, in the octagon, outside of the octagon, on podcasts. It was great to see, and I hope Molly does more of that. I hope she does more podcasting because her personality shows a lot, and it deserves to be out there. Alexia Thenara gets a big win. She dances her whole way out to the octagon, charges her quick, gets her down, yanks that sub up, and meme farms for about 3 minutes. So, very fun fighter. Has some Michelle Pajeda in her. Has some Johnny Walker in her. Damn, I'm talking about the Brazilians tonight. Today. And yeah, I'm excited to see what she does in the UFC. Let's get her a tougher opponent next. No offense to Molly McCann, but Molly McCann was known for being able to be submitted, and Alexia Thenara executed her game plan perfectly. Chris Duncan submits Jordan Vucenic in an upset via submission. Guillotine choke, round 2, 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Jordan Vucenic got subbed. Live by the sword, die by the sword. You feel me? Another prospect chopped down. I wouldn't say this was a fraud check. Chris Duncan's a very good fighter, so I would not call this a fraud check. But it definitely told us that Jordan Vucenic has leaps and bounds to go, because his fights with Paul Hughes and the trajectory that Paul Hughes went on and the trajectory that he's been on is completely different. So I'd love to see him fix some of the holes in his game. I don't know what the issue was here, but I could see him coming back stronger in his next fight. Look for him to get a big win in his next fight. Nathaniel Wood defeats Morgan Charrier via unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board. People thought this was going to be a close fight, but Nathaniel Wood drops Morgan Charrier. Nathaniel Wood grapples him. Nathaniel Wood stays on top. Nathaniel Wood lands shots when he's on the bottom, stays more active, and completely wins the fight in every aspect. Nathaniel Wood showed that he is now in his body at featherweight. He is here now. It usually takes people a couple fights, maybe 3 to 4 fights, to fully get acclimated at their new weight class, especially in the lower weight classes. But yeah, Nathaniel Wood proved that he's a featherweight. He can take on the big featherweights. He could take on the little featherweights. He's got the speed and the power for both. So Nathaniel Wood, shout out to getting one of the only wins for England tonight. England, you had a tough time. On to the prelims. Chris Padilla defeats Jai Herbert via split decision. This was a tough fight. It was a banger. Jai Herbert cuts Chris Padilla. He has a nice cut over his left eye. But yeah, Chris Padilla wins via split decision. Unfortunately for Jai Herbert. Loner Kavanagh defeats Felipe dos Santos in a battle of very, very promising upcoming flyweights. He beats him by unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. I can't wait to see what Loner Kavanagh has next. He uses striking. He got cut on the top of his head. Luckily, it's at the top of his head. It's not a cut that's going to affect him for the most for the majority of his career, because when it's an eye cut and that cut gets opened over and over and over again, like a Nick Diaz, both of them, I guess, the scar tissue opens easier and easier every time, and that can sway judges. So if you're a decision fighter, it's definitely not in your interest to have a lot of facial lacerations over your career. Marcin Tybura, like we said, defeats Mick Parkin via unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. He used his veteran savvy, he used his grappling, and he used his clinch game to make the judges think he won the fight. Now, a lot of people could say Mick Parkin won that fight, but I think Marcin Tybura did enough. Christian Leroy Duncan defeats Andre Puglia via unanimous decision, 30-27, 30-27, 30-26. He beat him in every aspect. He just couldn't get the finish. Unfortunately, he couldn't get that big finish for his London crowd. But hey, it is what it is. Shauna Bannon defeats Pooja Tomar in what was the most interesting and fun fight of the night via submission, armbar, round 2, 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Pooja Tomar drops Shauna Bannon with a head kick. She drops to the floor, has terrible fight IQ, and decides to jump in the guard instead of standing over her head or near her head. Okay. And then instead of landing a punch to the chin of her downed opponent that is basically in the shadow realm, she goes with an overhand to the top of the head. Okay. Yeah. Great. So Pooja Tomar fumbles the bag, and Shauna Bannon wakes up, sees she has Pooja Tomar in her guard. She's like, oh, let me just grab her little arm there. They're so short, I could just armbar that real quick. And that's what she does. She wins the fight, gets a signature win, gets a nice submission finish. And Shauna Bannon, fun fighter. She was landing these interesting Taekwondo strikes where she was hopping on her back leg and kind of jabbing with her front foot with a sidekick. It was interesting. Callan Lagren defeats Nathan Fletcher via split decision, 28-29, 29-28, 29-28. Rival gyms. It was an interesting fight. Could have gone either way. Nathan Fletcher spent too much time on his back. He was hunting for some submissions, did land a lot of strikes from the bottom, but the judges didn't think it was enough. He loses the fight. Both of Paddy Pimblett's teammates lost this afternoon in London. Cal Fernandez defeats Guram Kutataladze, the Georgian. Ties to Merab Dvalishvili, had both the Topurias in his corner, just didn't have it tonight. I don't know what it was, but he loses the fight 30-27 across the board. And that was our UFC London results. Let's move on. Once 172 happened this week, and I was unable to watch the card at the time. I was able to circle back to see some things. But let's go over what happened. Rod Tang gets a nice KO win over Takeru Sagawa. Okay, this was round 1. All right. Rod Tang is him. Don't forget, I told you Rod Tang was going to win this fight. I mean, Rod Tang's a beast. He comes forward. He lands strikes. At first, he wants to bang, baby. He wants to bang. Okay? And if he sees that he can't get you out of there, well, then we're just going to have a good old-fashioned scrap. But we didn't have to do that this time. He got him out of there quick. Masaka Nori defeats Taunchai. Round 1, 1 minute and 55 seconds. Both of these were kickboxing bouts, by the way. Go ahead and go back and watch these two fights. It'll take you all of 3.5 minutes to watch them both. So, yeah. Nori gets a big win. I was wrong about this one. I thought Sanchai had the experience to do it, but that's not how it went. Lots of stars were made tonight in 172. So one championship. I see you doing big things. I see you, Shatri. Even though you took my stream down for 171, I see you. Yuya Wakamatsu defeats Adriana Moraes via TKO on the ground. 3 minutes and 39 seconds in the first round. Yuya Wakamatsu gets a big win. Didn't think Adriana Moraes was going to lose this fight, but it just so happened that his time may be up. We saw him enjoying a lot of his behind the scenes interviews and all that kind of stuff in one. And it kind of felt like a farewell tour. It really did to me. I hope it's not, but it felt like one. He's accomplished a lot in one championship, and I would hate to see him go, but I think we have a new era in one championship. That was an MMA bout. Back to kickboxing. We had Jonathan DeBella defeating Sam A. Another fight I was wrong about, man. Sam A. I thought he was going to get the win here, but it was a unanimous decision for Jonathan DeBella. He just had the more powerful strikes. He was landing more efficiently, and he gets the win. Sam A. just didn't have it tonight. Oh, man. Nabil Anan also defeats Superlek. Unanimous decision. This was a Muay Thai bout. This was, in my opinion, this was a close fight. It was a close fight. Both men were putting it on out there. But Nabil Anan, the much longer fighter, he's just landing a lot of inside and outside strikes, and he comes away with the win here. Shinya Aoki defeats Edward Folliang again. I told you. I even told you how he was going to beat him. Armbar, round 1, 53 seconds. I mean, this is how Shinya beats him. I mean, this is a fight we've seen over and over and over again, and Shinya submits him most of the time. So I called the Shinya a sub, and that's exactly what we got. Shinya celebrating like he didn't know this was going to happen. I don't know why, but Shinya got the win again. Hiroki Akimoto defeats John Lineker via split decision. This was a kickboxing bout. This was in the big gloves. And John Lineker, I feel like he's a more imposing force when he can beat you up on the ground, on the feet, and in the clinch. I feel like you take away a lot of his skills when you have him in a kickboxing bout. So using a lot of his physical strengths, his physical gifts is what he does in a lot of his fights. And if you limit him, it's a handicap. So Akimoto walked away with a split decision win here. Adrian Lee defeats Taharu Agawa via submission anaconda choke in round 1, 1 minute and 3 seconds. And I told you about the Yoshinaris. I told you both of them were going to win, right? Shinmon Yoshinari defeats Acharya via unanimous decision. Yu defeats Zakaria El Jamaria via KO, round 1, 2 minutes and 12 seconds. This was a kickboxing bout. Rusey defeats Yan Yang via unanimous decision in kickboxing. And Nadaka Yoshinari defeats Rock Erawan via KO, round 3 with a punch, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. You're welcome if you cashed on the Yoshinari parlay. You're welcome if you cashed on Shinya Aoki sub. And you're welcome if you cashed on Rod Tang. Because that should have been, I think that was split. I think that was down the middle. But yeah, that was 172. Now let's get into some dirty boxing. Dirty boxing happened this weekend. We got a new promotion alert. Yoel Romero took on some dude. No, I'm kidding. His name is Ross Hylton. But he knocks him out in round 3. 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Yoel Romero proving he still got some hands on him. So watch out. I'm not sure if that made him the champion or whatever that did in dirty boxing. I didn't watch the event, but you can go ahead and watch the finish. I think they have it on MMA Fighting. They got a clip of it, so go check it out. Andrei Arlovsky defeats Terrence Hodges via TKO. Doctor stoppage. Round 2, 2 minutes. Nice little. If you like carnage and blood, go watch that. Ulysses Diaz defeats Brian Maxwell. Ulysses Diaz, you might know him from Bare Knuckle FC. He defeats Brian Maxwell via TKO, round 1, 1 minute and 22 seconds. Mike Breeden defeats Keith Speed via TKO. You might know him from the UFC. Round 1, 2 minutes and 46 seconds. Rob Perez defeats Zach Palga. You might know Zach Palga from the UFC. He beats him by split decision. 30-27. 29-28. 28-29. On the prelims, Alexander Schenk defeats Tristan Galichin via decision. 30-27, 29-28, 30-27. Jeff Craig defeats Oluwale Bangbos via TKO. Round 2, 25 seconds. Raheem Cleveland defeats Maurice Green via KO. Round 1, 45 seconds. That was a heavyweight. Kat Nelson defeats Claudio Zamora via unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. CJ Brandt defeats Gabriel Macario via TKO in round 1. Sean Houston defeats Diego Romo via decision. Corey Jackson defeats Marcellus Wallace. What does Marcellus Wallace look like? Via KO, round 1. And Guillermo Bastos defeats Gabriel Morales via unanimous decision. 29-28, 29-28, 29-28. And that's my coverage of dirty boxing. I'm trying to get you guys out before I'm trying. I got 22 minutes, right? I got 22 minutes or something. Let me check real quick. Oh, before we get into some actual boxing, boxing somehow manages to depress me more and more and more. The more I watch it, just absolute barbarians over there. I feel for these fighters sometimes, man, because you train 6 to 12 weeks, blood, sweat, tears, snot, cuts, doctor's visits, illnesses, missing events, occasions, birthdays, parties, get-togethers. You're missing all this shit just to get a win. Just to have some old motherfucker sitting in a chair yank it away from you. It's absolutely fucking crazy. I don't understand how someone could completely win a fight in the eyes of the world, the books, everybody, and still manage to get the win taken away from them. We've seen this time and time again, and I'm not going to name names, but it's fucking disgusting, and I'm tired of seeing it in boxing, man. It makes it very difficult to be a fan of the sport. So absolutely difficult. That's just my disclaimer before I get into it. All right, let's get into George Kambosos versus Jake Wyllie. More of a happy note now. Now, this is a fantastic story, man, because George Kambosos defeats Jake Wyllie via unanimous decision, a 12-round fight. 117, 111 on 2 judges' scorecards, and 115, 113 on 1 judge's scorecard. And Jake Wyllie, just a week ago, was an average citizen just like me or you, going to work their 9-to-5 job. I believe he was a plumber or something. Forgive me if I got the occupation wrong. But he was an average citizen of his country. Okay, I might have said U.S. citizen. He's not a U.S. citizen, but he's an average citizen, just like you or me, in your country of origin. And he gets the call to fight George Kambosos on short notice, and he answers that call. And not only does he give us an entertaining fight, but he makes a great account of himself and gets himself a Matchroom Boxing contract with Eddie Hearn, or DAZN contract, whatever it is. Shout out to Jake Wyllie. Figuratively speaking, off the couch with a world champion and hangs in there with him for 12 motherfucking rounds. Everybody and their mother thought George Kambosos was going to knock him out, and that is not what happened. Shout out to Jake Wyllie. Shout out to George Kambosos for giving his opponent the proper credit afterwards. You love to see it. That's the stuff we love to see in boxing. Correct judges' scorecards and a great story to come out of the fight. Nobody ends up hurt. That's what we love to see. Tiara Brown defeats Sky Nicholson, dethrones the champ via split decision, 97-93, 96-94, 94-96. A lot of people saying that Sky Nicholson's finish lacking style was going to catch up to her in the end. And it did against Tiara Brown. Tiara Brown At the press conferences, Tiara Brown. At the face-offs, Tiara Brown. At the weigh-ins, showing she was not afraid of Sky Nicholson, because Tiara Brown has KOs on her record, and quite a few of them. And Sky Nicholson only has one on hers. So Tiara Brown, going into this fight, knew that she had nothing to fear in the hands of Sky Nicholson. Next to nothing. And she walked her down, landed the more powerful strikes, and won the fight. Tiara Brown is your champion. And did so in style. She made a loud account of herself and announced that she's here and here to stay. Now, I'd love to see the rematch. It was a close fight. You could have seen it either way. I'd love to see it. Let Sky get a chance to get her belt back. Let Tiara Brown get a chance to get a finish and prove she really was the better fighter. Elsewhere on the card, Terry Moana Jr. defeats James Sang via TKO round 1. Cherneka Johnson defeats Nina Hughes in the rematch. The first fight, she beat her by decision. This time, by TKO, round 7. It was just too much for her. Landed a barrage of strikes. Cherneka Johnson put a stamp on this one. And Cherneka's the champ. Cherneka's the champ. Imad Katayev defeats Derval Elias Palacio via unanimous decision, 98-89 on 2 judges' scorecards, 98-90 on ones. Hemiayo defeats Akapab Arwan via TKO round 1, and Jaden Wan defeats Jordan Caselieris via unanimous decision, 40-36 on 2 judges' scorecards, 39-37 on the others. Moving on, Sebastian Fundora took on Chordale Booker. This was PBC on Prime, baby. Well, it was PBC anyways. And Sebastian Fundora knocks him out in round 4. It was a TKO. 2 minutes and 51 seconds. He almost made it to the end. He almost made it to the end. But yeah, Chordale Booker succumbs to the strikes of Sebastian Fundora. The Towering Inferno does it again. He's just too long for these guys in the division. Too powerful when he lands. It's a lot of torque coming your way off them little arms. Okay? Israel Adesanya proved to us in all combat sports that you don't need to have big muscles to knock people the fuck out. Sean O'Malley proves that as well. So, yeah, Sebastian Fundora, big win. Big freaking win. Jesus Ramos defeats Guido Emmanuel Schramm via TKO, round 7, 1 minute and 38 seconds. I mean, we all predicted this. Jesus Ramos was going to get a TKO win. It was just a matter of when. And then Elijah Garcia defeats Terrell Gausha via split decision, 94-95, 95-94, 96-93. Now, I was in the school of thought that Terrell Gausha won this fight. I thought Terrell Gausha handily won this fight. He was hurting the young fighter. He had him cut, had him bloodied, had him bruised, had him backing up. He was using his veteran savvy and his ring generalship. And I thought he was winning this fight handily. I thought this was going to be a Terrell Gausha unanimous decision. But they gave it to the other guy. They gave it to Elijah Garcia. They valued his toughness. They valued the body shots that he invested in. And they thought that was enough for him to win the fight. So Elijah Garcia walks away with the win. That was our Fundora versus Booker main card. On the prelims, excuse me, Rojas defeats Maurice Lee via unanimous decision, 79-73, 80-72, 80-72. Albert Mora Garcia defeats Victor Slavinsky via unanimous decision, 80-72, 80-72, 77-75. Robert Guerrero defeats Sean Armas via TKO, round 2, 1 minute. Ryan Gonzalez defeats Justin Marquez via TKO, round 4, 1 minute and 57 seconds. Alexis De La Cerda Landin defeats Sharon Carter via KO, round 3, 2 minutes and 59 seconds. Joseph Brown defeats Ezekiel Duran via TKO, round 6, 1 minute and 54 seconds. And Yersly Vargas defeats Ulysses Avelino Reyes via KO, round 4, 2 minutes and 59 seconds. And that was the Sebastian Fundora versus Chordale Booker card. All right. Other news in boxing, other boxing notables, okay? We got some like 4 or 5 good events coming up. Michaela Mayer taking on Sandy Ryan. 10 rounds for Mayer's WBO welterweight title. If Mayer wins this fight, sets up a fight with Price. Lauren Price waiting. She just won. Waiting for a fight. And I think if Michaela Mayer wins, that's the next fight to make. March 29th in Cancun, Mexico on DAZN. William Zepeda taking on Tevin Farmer. 12 rounds for Zepeda's WBC interim lightweight title. April 12th in Atlantic City, New Jersey on DAZN. There's a title fight between Jaron Boots Ennis and Eliamonte Stanionis. 12 rounds for Ennis's IBF welterweight title and Staniosis's WBA welterweight title. On April 26th in London, also on DAZN, Chris Eubank Jr. takes on Connor Benn. 12 rounds at middleweight. The infamous egg incident. That was tough to say. You remember when he took the egg out of his pocket and smacked Connor Benn with it? Yeah, that fight's going to be a banger when it happens. May 2nd in New York City on DAZN, pay-per-view. Ryan Garcia is taking on Rolly Rolando Romero. 12 rounds at junior welterweight. I hope that fight's still going on. It better still be going on. And that does it for my coverage of other boxing notables. We got about 10 minutes, and we got our favorite segment of the week, baby. That's right. It's this week's wins. This week's wins. That's right. This week's wins. That's right. This week's wins. Hey, yes, motherfucker. This week's wins again and again. Oh, God. All right, I'm back. This week's wins, motherfucker. Yes. You love to see it. You love to see it. You love to see it. All right. You know, I thought Molly was going to get a TKO or a finish. Okay. Well, let's talk about the card. I lost on Guram Kutateladze. I wanted to put a bet on Fernandez. I didn't do it, and I paid for it. I didn't put Kutateladze in any parlays because I was worried. I was worried, and I was right in worrying. Now, I had Nathan Fletcher in the parlay. I'm sorry if you didn't cash. Oh, shit. I just remembered I forgot to load something. I'm sorry if you didn't cash. I'm very, very, very sorry if you didn't cash. I mean, Nathan Fletcher, I thought did enough to win the fight, and I thought we were going to get that dubber, but as we know, that is not what happened. That is not what happened. It is not. So we took an L there. And then we had the Sean Abandon Pooja Tomar fight. We had Pooja Tomar TKO. Pooja, you fucked us. You fucked us good, Pooja. Oh, you fucked us good. We were so close. All you needed was an uppercut instead of an overhand when she was down on the ground, and that fight's over. You got to touch that chin. The chin. The chin is where you got to put him out. The chin. What is that? Jimmy Prohashka blocks with his forehead. It's like Justin Gagey blocks with his forehead. Why would you punch her forehead? It's crazy to me. But anyways, and for those saying, look, bro, moving opponent, she was down on the ground with her eyes rolled back into her head. She had a free shot, and she chose to punch her on the top of the head. Okay, that was my only. Anyways, and Christian Leroy Duncan, that was a fight to stay away from. Marcin Tybura. Shout out to Marcin Tybura. He was in the parlay. I didn't take singles on him, and I should have, unfortunately. And I didn't choose Loner Kavanaugh. I had Felipe Santos decision. I basically went over on the prelims. It was a terrible prelims card for me. So I really needed to turn it around. To turn it around. And guess what? Our boy Nathaniel motherfucking Wood got it going for us. Got some capital going for us. Threw a $5 in there. Nathaniel Wood points on both apps. Turned back $13, my lucky numbers. So, it worked out. We were small. The units are small on fight nights. So don't play around with me. Don't play around with me. All right. Fight nights are small. When we get to them numbered events, that's when we go big. But yeah, Nathaniel Wood getting us right for the night, got us going, opening up the main card right for us. So appreciate him there. Then Jordan Vucenic effectively killed our parlay by getting submitted by Chris Duncan. So even if Nathan Fletcher had one, we would have died on Jordan Vucenic. So not the worst thing. The regular parlay died already by now. Okay. And then we had the high risk, and the high risk had Marcin Tybura, so it was progressing. And then we had Kevin Holland in there. Oh no, Kevin Holland was on the main one. Who the fuck was in the? Oh, it was Jan Blachowicz, Sean Brady, and maybe that was Nathaniel Wood. Hey, Nathaniel Wood. Yeah, Nathaniel Wood was also in this parlay. So Alexia Thanara took on Molly McCann. We had to take Alexia Thanara multiple ways, and we thought it was going to be a finish. We thought Molly was either going to get the TKO or she was getting subbed. So we took the under, and we got the under. Another 5-piece to bring back 13. 13 seems to be our number that night. Okay, keep that in mind. So $5, $13 on the under, plus 175, plus 174 on FanDuel. Thank you, Alexia Thanara. And then we also had to take props. So we took Alexia Thanara sub multiple ways. We took on DraftKings Molly McCann by TKO or Alexia Thanara by sub at plus 200. $5 turned back $15. Another triple. Love that. And then we took Alexia Thanara by sub. If you were watching the main card minute stream, I put the bet in and then I doubled the fuck down. I threw in an Alexia Thanara sub again as the odds inflated to plus 410. Brought back $50 on it. Thank you, Alexia Thanara. New favorite of mine because she made us some money. 9:15 a.m. shows up. He says, you were wilding on the picks after the Fletcher incident. Yeah, I was going crazy. I was going crazy on the main card minute, man. I was going absolutely buck wild. But I reeled it in after the Kevin Holland fight. I reeled it in. Kevin Holland, I was like, this fight's going to decision. We had the UFC P units simulation that we had on Friday, and it said that we were going to get a Holland decision. So, I like to go with my video game bets. So I bet the Holland over. I forgot to put it in on DK, but I got it in on FanDuel. It was over 2.5. I got it at plus 112, put basically $7 on it, brought back 1420. I was so happy that I put this bet in because 420 was on there, and you know what the fuck we do on these channels. So yeah. And you also know I had to take Holland points, right? I had to take Holland points on FanDuel as well. Was unable to do it on DraftKings. I was rushing to put my bet in. Didn't get it in time. So Kevin Holland points only went on FanDuel. Plus 480 is still great for me, man. Turning $5 into $30. I wish I put more on it. I really do. But we go small, we go modest, we go safe on the fight night. So that's what we had to do. But the one bet that I had, and I wanted to throw it in all my parlays, the one pick I was very confident in because he never lost 3 in a row. I was riding for my dog. The streets is back. I had to go with my dog, Kevin Holland. And guess what? Kevin Holland, I had to go big on that one, a $50 bet on both apps. Brought back 100. We doubled our money. Thank you, Kevin Holland. We appreciate you. You made the night positive after all the $5 losses we took on the prelims. But yeah, we got all our money back on Kevin Holland. We were playing with house money at this point because we got the Holland points as the first leg of the UFC P units parlay, if you guys remember. And since I had Jan Blachowicz in the high risk parlay, which died on the Jan Blachowicz fight, as we know, and I had Jan Blachowicz points, I also had to take Oldberg decision. So that's what I did. I took Oldberg decision on DK. I forgot to do it on FanDuel, but I got the bet in, tripled the money up at plus 180. Easy money, in my opinion, because we already knew what was going to happen. Unfortunately, that killed all my Jan bets. So that killed the regular parlay. That killed the high risk parlay. All we had left now was the UFC P units parlay, which was 2 legs down, 1 to go. As you know, it was Kevin Holland points, Carlos Oldberg points, Sean Brady decision at plus 6,500. And yes, motherfucker, it fucking cashed. Let's go. Kevin Holland won by decision. Carlos Ulberg won by decision. Sean Brady won by submission. It was a plus 6,500 cash. This was my bet. I actually cashed that on FanDuel like a fucking moron. It was going to be $400 coming my way on FanDuel, and I cashed it out. It would have been $700 off a $10 put in, $5 on each app, 5 into 330, 5 into 400. I ended up getting quadruple my money, 5 for 20. Still a great win, but could have been way more. But hey, we still end up way positive on the night. It was a huge fucking cash and a huge monumental moment for the channel because that was the first time that we cashed our CP units parlay. Thank you. Well, our CP units parlay, not a single, but thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sean Brady, Carlos Ulberg, and Kevin Holland. Thank you guys. This was another fantastic episode of this week's Wins. Now, before MK starts, let me get you guys out with my picks real quick on UFC Fight Night, Mexico City, Brandon Moreno versus Steve Erceg. There's only a couple things left here. These are my picks. I got 5. It's going to change throughout the week, so don't forget to show up for UFCP units on Friday. We'll be doing the simulation of this card, so please come by on Friday on this very channel. But my picks are, oh, what the hell? Did I never write these down? Oh my God, I never wrote them down. Oh, here we go. Brandon Moreno. Got to go with Brandon Moreno. We always go with Brandon Moreno. Sassin baby. Joe Pyfer, I expect him to get the KO. I expect it to be around 1 KO as well. Joe Pyfer's coming with them bombs, and he's going to land. Raul Rosas Jr., he loves to show out for his people, especially in Mexico City. I expect him to get a nice win here, especially Lupi Godinez. I expect her to get a nice win as well. I expect Lupi Godinez to get a very big win. I could see her getting a finish, but I expect this fight to go to decision. And Rafa Garcia, a very, very good fighter, doesn't really fight to his potential, usually gets a decision a lot of the time. I could see him getting a really big win here. I could see a Rafa Garcia TKO, but Rafa Garcia's decision is probably the smartest way to go. And those are my picks on UFC Fight Night, Mexico City. And that's it for me, y'all. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm about to watch me some MK, eat some breakfast, do what I do on a motherfucking Monday. And then I'm going to watch Side Effects after that because that's my favorite show. That's on Adult Swim right now and on HBO Max if you want to check it out. But yeah, sponsors, hit me up. Hit me up. I'm a fucking money getter over here. Don't forget. I'm getting money over here. Please scan the QR code below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Main card minute on your left. This channel, One More Round Fights on your right. Yeah. Join the movement. Join the party. Be a friend. Don't forget to follow on social. That's where I put out the parlays, the graphics, all that. You know what I'm saying? You know, we way up. You already know. And again, I'm your host, Gaff. I do this every Sunday, but today we had to do it on Monday because of Jonas Khan or whatever the fuck. But yeah, I'm getting out of here. Enjoy MK. Shout out to Luke. Shout out to the guys, Brian and Luke. Shout out to Ariel. Shout out to the MMA fighting guys. Shout out to everybody that supports the channel. Shout out to my dudes in the chat. Shout out to 9:15 a.m. Lazy Bed, Peter, all the boys. I see you guys later. Deuces.